Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be sharing with all of you my current foundation makeup routine. This is a combination that I've been using for the past, I don't know, maybe month or so. And I do have oily skin, so it's always been a challenge to find a foundation routine that stayed all day, didn't cake up, it didn't look a hot mess by the time that my day is over and I laid down to go to bed. So I figured I would share it with you, and if you're excited, you can give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. I would love to have you guys join me for future videos, but without further ado, I will shut my mouth and we will get on into it. Okay, so first off, it is very important that if you have oily skin that you are using some sort of primer. This is the E.L.F. Matte Oil Control Primer in the pink tube with kaolin clay and tea tree. I tested this out in a first impression maybe a couple videos back, and I have just really found that this does a great job of controlling my oils and making me not look like a cakey mess. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this applied. This is a clear kind of silicone consistency, and it feels very, very silky going on, and it smells amazing also. It does turn your face red the first couple times that you apply it. However, do not let that deter you from using it. The redness does go away completely a few seconds after you set it down, so don't let that worry you any. And this just does a really great job of gripping onto your foundation and mattifying the skin and preventing any excess oils from leaking through the foundation and making you look greasy and cakey by the time the day is over. Alright, and I don't use concealer most days. I would say that 8 times out of 10 I'm not going to use concealer, so I'm not going to use it in this video just because I normally don't. But if you wanted good options, you could use this one. This is the Revlon Colorstay Full Coverage Concealer, and I use the shade 005 Fair. This is a more light to medium coverage concealer, but if you wanted a more full coverage one, you could use the E.L.F. 16-Hour Camo Concealer. I use the shade Fair Rose, I believe is my shade, or Light Beige. I think I've used that shade before. You could also use the CoverGirl True Blend Concealer, and that is like opaque full coverage, but if you get that one, do be careful because it can crepe and crease a ton. Okay, and now that that is applied, the next thing is, of course, foundation, and this combination has been working really great for me. Now, the problem with this is this foundation actually is discontinued. This is CYO Lifeproof. I use the shade 101, but it is way discontinued. I discovered it on Taylor Wynn's channel, and it works awesome on its own, but this is definitely more dewy. Mixed with the CoverGirl Clean Matte BB Cream in the shade Fair, this is just an awesome combination. Now, even though this is discontinued, there is almost an exact dupe. The Soap & Glory Kick-Ass Foundation is pretty much the exact same thing, but the problem is that it's twice the price. So I would personally just try to find this somewhere if you can. I'm gonna go ahead and mix these. I like to just mix them on the back of my hand. I usually do like a pump and a half of CYO and then just maybe a 1-second squeeze of the CoverGirl. Then I'm just mixing it on the back of my hand and applying it all over, making sure to get good coverage with the foundation on all the major areas of my face. And then once everything is where it should be, I'm going to put my hair back and get this stippled in. And I do have a mirror that is behind my camera, and that is how I am currently applying the foundation. See, it just looks so great on the skin. It looks like skin without looking cakey or greasy. I normally get a lot of creasing like over here and texture in this area, and with this combination you cannot really see any of it, maybe just a little bit, but not a lot at all. And with this amount that I'm putting on my face, I am getting probably, I'd say, light medium coverage, maybe highlight coverage, but that is, you know, what I like. But if you wanted more coverage, you could of course just use more product to get the amount of coverage that you are looking for. And this just looks so great on the skin. It is still, I would say, more luminous right now, just because I used more of the CYO than the CoverGirl. But of course, if you wanted more of a matte finish, you could always just use more of the CoverGirl and less of the more dewy of the foundations. And also I did want to throw in here that if you can't get your hands on the CYO, but you don't want to shell out the price for the Soap & Glory Kick-Ass foundation, you could use the Loreal Fresh Wear 24-hour foundation in a pinch. It will give you not the exact same, but pretty similar results. I want to say that foundation is about $10 on Amazon. I'll look up the price of that and drop it down in the description box below, just in case you're curious, if you want to use that instead of the CYO or the Soap & Glory. All right, and that is looking pretty good. It just sits really awesome on my forehead, and you can pretty much see no texture on my cheeks at all. And the coverage is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with where my coverage is at right now. I'm not going anywhere, so I don't feel the need to have like amazing full coverage anything right now. Okay, and then this next part isn't super important because I'm not someone who always sets her foundation. However, if you are someone that does that, I would have two to recommend to you. The first one is the IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better CC Airbrush Perfecting Powder, and I use the shade Fair. Yeah, Fair. But if you wanted a drugstore or more affordable one, you could go with the AOA Studio Perfecting Powder. I want to say, and I just use the translucent one, and I figure that that gives almost an identical effect to this. This is just what's in my current rotation basket, so that is what I'm using today. And I've got my powder brush right here, and I'm going to go ahead and just pop this on. I'm not going to pat on a whole lot just because I only want to cover the spots where I'll be putting bronzer and blush and stuff on top. So I'm not going to put on a ton or anything. Alright, now we're going to move on to bronzer. And this actually came in my last Ipsy bag, and I have fallen in love with it. This thing is amazing. This is the Pacifica Desert Sunset Matte Blush and Bronzer Duo, and you get a blush shade and a bronzer shade in here, and these are what it looks like. This looks like it's going to pull a lot more warm than it does. It is still on the warm side, but it's not like straight up orange or anything like that, but it is definitely more warm. And I'm just going to take that same brush I used for my powder, and I'm just going to lightly go in to the bronzer, and I'm just going to very lightly dust it into the hollows of my cheeks. I am going for more of a natural bronze look today. I'm not going for, you know, super contoured or anything. And that just gives like a really pretty sun-kissed look, which is what I prefer. Gonna go back in for the other side, just a couple of taps. That's super pretty. It just gives like a really pretty sun-kissed look. I really, really enjoy the bronzer in this. Alright, and then we're just going to use the same blush. The blush is super pigmented, so you definitely want to use a big fluffy brush. I would just recommend using the whatever powder brush you have, because that seems to yield me the best effect. And definitely tap off the excess, because unless you're somebody that really likes a blinding blush, that really likes a super vibrant blush, you're going to want to use a big fluffy brush like this to apply it. Super pretty. Maybe just a little bit more. And I'm not going to do a highlight. I've actually really been liking the look of a matte face, but of like a dewy face, but not using highlight. But if you really wanted to use one, I would just use the E.L.F. Glow Beam highlight palette. It's like $10, works awesome. There's several different highlight shades in there for you to choose from depending on your skin type, and would highly recommend. Okay, and then setting spray if you're an oily skin type is a must. I've been using this one. This is the Too Faced Hangover 3-in-1. I know that this used to be a big thing back in the day, but I've noticed that it's kind of fallen down in trends as more inexpensive setting sprays have come to light, but I do really like this because I find that on my skin that it really does set everything in and make it look more natural. So this is what I've been using. But if you wanted a more affordable option, you could go with the E.L.F. Makeup Mist and Set, which I've mentioned probably 500,000 times. Or you could use the one from Shop Miss A, the AOA Studio setting spray. Alright, and then moving on to the eyes, I've really been loving this palette. I reviewed it in a past video, and I said in that video that I didn't really care for it. However, I've tried it more and more, and I do really like it. This is the E.L.F. Retro Paradise palette. This is one of their newer palette releases, and I do really like it. The mattes in here are awesome. I really do like them. And the shimmers are stunning. I like every shimmer in here just about, with the exception of this one. This one can be a little bit finicky if you don't wet it and use a brush to apply it. The rest though are amazing, and I've just been doing a pretty simple eye. I'll get my big fluffy blending brush that's kind of at an angle, and I'll usually just take a mix of these three mattes right here, mix them together, and just very lightly dust them into the crease. So that's what we're gonna do today. Not a ton. I've actually been liking the more bare eye look myself, just very neutral eyeshadow. I'm gonna get a little bit more because I want a little bit more coverage, a little bit more pow on my eyes. I just realized that I did not put on an eye primer, but I normally use concealer for that, and I just use whatever concealer I've used under my eyes if I've used it that day. But if I have not used a concealer that day, I would just use the E.L.F. 16-Hour Camo. Alright, and that's looking a little bit more brown than I wanted, so I'm actually going to take this orangey shade right here and add that in. Just to the very top to create more of a sunset eye. And then going back in on the same eye and adding this orange shade just to create more of that sunset eye type of look. Alright, super pretty. And then on most days I do go and add just a little bit of shimmer, not a ton. Normally I'm going in with this yellow shimmer right here, so that's what we're going to do today. And I'm just going to apply that with my finger. And then I'm going to go back in with this yellow shade with my finger on the other eye. Alright, and then I've been taking this big fluffy brush right here and going back in with this yellow shade and just blending those three matte shades up here together. Why am I losing my voice? I'm losing my voice for some random reason. And then we're gonna come back right here and adding that into those three matte shades. And what we're gonna do now is we're going to take this deepest brown, right here, and we're going to put that on the lower eyelash area. Okay. And now we're going to move on to the other eye, this deeper brown shade right here. And then what I've been doing now is taking this rose gold shade right here and applying it to the inner corner out to where that brown eyeshadow stops on the lower lash line. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Alright, and the last step is mascara, and I've recently just been using my holy grail, the Essence Lash Princess. This is the green tube. I've mentioned this probably 500,000 times. All right, and then the last step is lipstick or some sort of lip color. And what I've normally just been doing is throwing on a nude lip and calling it a day. I normally use the LA Colors moisturizing lipstick in the shade Satin. I'll pop a picture up of it right here because I don't actually have it on hand right now because it's in my purse downstairs. So today we're just going to use the Maybelline 24-hour lip color. I forget the shade. I want to say it's like Loyal or something like that, but I'm going to go ahead and throw that on now. And what I normally do is I just put it on a brush and I apply it to my lips. So let me go do that real quick. All right, so I just went and threw on the lip color, and it is the Maybelline 24-hour matte lipstick in the shade Loyal. That's what I just put on my lips. And I did forget a liquid eyeliner. I don't always wear that, but if you would like a good recommendation, I recommend either the Physicians Formula Eye Booster, or today, off camera, I just threw on the E.L.F. Maquillage eyeliner because it came in my E.L.F. Maquillage foundation order for free. So I did try it out. My thoughts on that are that it is a little bit too tug-like. It does pull at the skin a little bit more than I would like, but it is matte, super black, doesn't bleed or anything, so it is decent. If you would like to try that out, you can get it on E.L.F. Maquillage's website. But this is the full look. This is my current foundation routine, how I've been doing my makeup every day. It doesn't move throughout the day, it doesn't budge. It still gives that luminous type of finish without transferring or coming off if you lay down and take a nap throughout the day. I haven't noticed any transferring or anything like that in about the month's time that I have been doing my makeup this way. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, you can give it a like and you can hit subscribe. I would love to have you guys back for more videos. As always, you can leave down in the comments what you would like to see me do next time, or you can leave them on my Instagram, which I will put right here, so you guys can all go and follow me there. But I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks for hanging out. Bye.